Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever looked at the world and thought, with all the smart people in charge, why are things still so messy? Today, we're diving into a spiritual philosophy that suggests maybe being smart isn't the point, and that true wisdom comes from a place we've been taught to ignore. So let's just jump right in with a question that was put to the Korean spiritual teacher Chung Gung. We are literally swimming in data and experts more than any other time in history, but our biggest problems, they're still here. The question was, with all this education, what are our leaders missing? What do they need to get rid of to fix things?
And his answer, wow, it just completely flips the script. He basically says, you're asking the wrong question. It's not about what to subtract. It's about what you need to add. It's not about emptying your mind, but about changing the very quality of what's already in there. This one idea, it's the key to this entire way of thinking.
Okay, so to really get our heads around this, we're going to walk through 5 key ideas from his teaching. We'll start with the leader's paradox, then look at what he calls the soul's 2 nutrients. We'll explore the difference between knowledge and wisdom, figure out how to build inner strength, and wrap it all up with a pretty wild metaphor about some frogs in a well. All right, first up, the leader's paradox. Let's really dig into this central problem, this idea that our world is overflowing with smart people but starving for wisdom.
I think this is something we can all kind of feel, right? We've got leaders with degrees from the best universities. We have all the information, all the data. But there's this huge gap. All that raw knowledge isn't adding up to the kind of wise, effective leadership that humanity is crying out for.
So what's the fix? Well, here's the core concept, and it's a bit of a mind-bender. Try to think of everything you've learned, all the facts and figures, not just as information, but as a form of energy that you're holding inside you. The goal isn't to throw any of it away. The goal is to add a higher quality of energy to it, transforming everything you know from the inside out. Okay, so you're probably wondering, how in the world do I add higher quality energy? Well, this philosophy gives us a framework, and it all starts by understanding that we need 2 totally different kinds of fuel to operate. It all starts with this core definition of a human being, or ingan in Korean. We're not just one thing. We're a fusion of 2 parts, a physical body, which is really just a tool like a car, and a non-physical soul, which is your true self, the driver of that car. And just like that car needs gas, these 2 parts of you need completely different kinds of fuel. Our body, the tool, it runs on physical food, simple enough. But our soul, our true essence, is nourished by something else entirely, a non-material energy that this teaching calls sustenance. And this is where we get to the absolute heart of the whole system. This is the big one. The idea that not all this sustenance for your soul is created equal. See, it argues that this soul fuel comes in 2 main flavors. First, you've got knowledge. Think of this as low-density energy. It's the information you get from studying, from searching online. It makes you smart, but it's just stuff. Then there's truth. This is high-density energy. It's profound insight. And you can't just find it. It has to be taught to you by a true master. This is what actually builds wisdom.
And here's where it gets so practical for us right now. The teaching essentially says, stop trying to beat AI at its own game. It's pointless. In this day and age, endlessly hoarding basic facts is a waste of your time. Make AI your friend. Let it be your research assistant. Let it handle the information.
Okay, so if we're outsourcing the knowledge part to AI, what's our job? Our job is to focus on absorbing truth, because this is how we build what the teaching calls inner strength, or Naegong. Let's picture it like this. For most educated folks, our souls are about 70% full of that low-density knowledge. It's like being full of steam. It takes up a ton of space, but it doesn't have much real power. What we need to do is introduce that high-density truth, something more like water or even ice, to actually trigger a transformation. Because in this system, wisdom isn't just a thing you have, it's an event that happens. It's described as a physical reaction in the soul. It's like a spiritual chain reaction that can only go off when the energy inside you gets dense enough. That little explosion, that is what generates real, usable wisdom.
So the path is actually laid out pretty clearly for us. Step 1, you acquire your baseline knowledge. Use AI, use whatever tools you need. Step 2, you have to seek out that high-density truth from a guide. Step 3, you absorb it, which increases the energetic density of your soul, until, bam! Step 4, that internal reaction happens, creating real, tangible inner strength.
But, and this is a really big but, this is not a weekend workshop, this is not a quick fix. The teaching is very clear that this is a serious commitment. We're talking about 3 years of quiet, dedicated study. You have to build that powerful spiritual core before you should even think about trying to use this wisdom out in the world.
So why? Why go through all this effort? What is all this inner strength for? This is where the teaching zooms way out from our personal journey to this massive collective purpose, and it's all explained through this one powerful metaphor.
The story goes like this. Imagine a well, and this well is just crowded, absolutely teeming with frogs. In this metaphor, the well is South Korea, and the frogs, well, they're the Korean people.
Now, life in this well is all the frogs have ever known. It's their entire universe. But then, something starts to happen. The water level begins to drop. And it's dropping fast. The well is literally being drained. For the frogs, this feels like a catastrophe. But the teaching says this is no accident. It's happening on purpose.
And this leads to the central dramatic question of the whole metaphor. With their familiar world completely disappearing, where are all the frogs going to go?
And here's the point of it all. The hardship is a catalyst. The emptying of the well symbolizes the current difficulties the nation is facing, but it's not meant to destroy the frogs. It's meant to force them out of their small, limited world and onto the global stage, so they can finally become the leaders for all of humanity that they were meant to be.
And that's how it all connects. That personal quest for wisdom, for inner strength, isn't just about self-improvement. It's framed as the ultimate purpose for the Korean people in this era, to finally use that refined strength to serve the entire world.
So this really leaves us all with a pretty sharp question to ask ourselves, doesn't it? As you go through your day, as you're scrolling, reading, listening, just think for a second about the density of what you're consuming. Are you just collecting more low-density knowledge, filling yourself up with steam, or are you actively seeking that high-density truth that can actually spark real wisdom? According to this philosophy, that choice is everything.